All right, everyone. I have to ask, have you ever felt uninspired, technically challenged,
all the time,
no time to create, or just bored when creating your own game maps? Well, if so, then you need to stick around because today we are discussing Dungeon Alchemist, and I am super excited. Hello, heroes. Welcome to Crit Academy. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
I'm your co-host, Brandon. Never mind. Just go.
We hope to inspire you with creative content that you can bring with you on your next adventure. We have a special giveaway tonight to all of our wonderful friends watching on during the live stream here, right over on YouTube. We are giving away a hardcover of our newest product, Extraordinary Expeditions. So stick around to the end to be included in the drawing. I promise this is absolutely a fantastic product. Once again, not just saying that because because we wrote it.
That's just a bonus.
That's just a bonus, right?
Smells like shame.
Fair enough. So I'm super excited. If you don't know, it's 10 adventures, each one from level 1 to level 10, that are on a flexible framework to easily be included in your stories and campaigns. More importantly than that, they are designed to be run with little or no prep. So I'm really excited. So stick around. All right, let's move on to our main topic, Dungeon Alchemist today. I'm super excited for this.
Yep. First and foremost, what is Dungeon Alchemist?
Dungeon Alchemist. It is an AI-powered map-making application on Steam that enables you to make high-quality content faster than ever. Yeah. You no longer have to drag and drop walls in certain other programs that I'm going to remain nameless.
It is as simple as you get when it comes to designing maps. If you're anything like me personally, time is a very precious commodity. So a powerful tool that's like this is a complete game changer, going to be honest. It is quite literally as simple as determining the size of your map and the theme. That's it.
Handy. You're up. That's a handy. And when that is done, you can drag your cursor and make it the size that you want. Then, boom! Artificial intelligence automatically creates the rooms and populates it with all sorts of objects to bring it to life.
That's actually really pretty.
So this is really cool. If you're watching on the video right now, it is showing up. It is auto-generating and auto-populating the different themes that you pick, which I think is really, really cool when you're doing Dungeons and Dragons, especially when you have players that sometimes go a different direction. You don't have anything prepared.
Okay.
So I think this handles that sort of situation really, really well. Personally, I do have some. I had some reservations about this when I started tinkering with it. I was worried it would repopulate the same stuff, or it was just It literally just randomly populates everything, which is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
And what I did notice when he was showing me videos before we started, just say, "Hey, you remember Dungeon Alchemist?" Like, "Oh, I remember hearing about it." All right, look at this. Like, oh, I remember that. Well, so I was playing with it, and if it randomly generates something in a room that you don't like, you can just click that box and get rid of it.
Yeah, and that's fantastic, and they do really well with that. So, Brandon, now that we've kind of shown them a little bit of overview and discussed it, can you tell us about kind of get us started with the process?
With the process, now that you've got the main structure figured out, the map size, all that stuff, you can now drag and drop to easily expand the dimensions. You can add rooms or build other structures on the same maps, all within seconds. To top it off, you can easily change the theme and objects inside just by clicking a button. Like there's like forests, there's caverns, mountains, all these different things that you can go with.
Which is really, really awesome.
It's like, you want a tavern? You click tavern.
So Dominic actually has a really good question here, I think. He's asking about, can you do things on multiple levels?
I was actually thinking that.
That's a great question. I don't have as much time with this as I would like. And on top of that, when I build my maps, there's separate maps for upper level and lower level anyway. And I do know there's stairs. But I couldn't tell you if it has a function of literally building right on top of one, not that I'm aware of, but this also does a lot of stuff that every time I tinker with it, I learn something new, which it just shows how in depth this program is. What I really liked about it is, it gives you an option. If you're not interested in the AI, you can actually instead populate, rotate, drag and drop items inside yourself, which is really, really cool. This really gives you the freedom to build a map exactly how you want, which is really cool because they have a library of just thousands and thousands of objects to pick and choose from: doors, walls, desks, crypts, tables, you name it, potion bottles. They have it all, which is really, really great. I really like the fact that okay, so according to our producer, multi-level maps is planned. A planned edition later this year, according to their according to the chat. So that's definitely something that I think would be really, really cool to keep an eye out for.
Steam community is saying.
Yeah.
As late as April 1st is the last update. The multi-force support is being planned.
So that is awesome. That's what I'm saying. That one thing. So I did kickstart this back when it first announced, because I was super impressed with the development. I want to constantly support more and more, D&D and tabletop created content, right?
And there is a lot of stuff coming out all the time, just in general.
Yeah.
Just because it's how he's growing, and I am okay with that. More tools for my belt.
Yeah. The layout of the buildings are built on a wide, robust set of terrain, which is really cool. Very much, I was talking earlier before pre-show, how it reminds me of old Final Fantasy Tactics, where the different format is kind of designed there, which is pretty cool. And so you pick the terrain, and the terrain is thematic and generated randomly as well. So meaning every time that you choose to build a mountainside village, even the backdrop's going to be different right out the gate, all within seconds, which I think is just phenomenal. And you saw that in the clip that we just played. I'll go ahead and run it again one more time. What really makes this interesting to me is that when you pick your terrain, it allows you to adjust it freely, which is really cool. So let's say, it generates the beautiful map you see here has got water. You can see them altering and adding the path itself to better fit the ideal of what they want, which I think is pretty cool.
Handy for sure.
Final Fantasy Tactics is possibly one of the best games, according to Andrew. Of course it is. It's very super popular.
I love Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, and me too. And so when we're talking about Dungeon Alchemist, what makes this really cool, besides the auto generation, is its versatility. Let's Brandon, why don't you touch on that a little bit, because I got something I got to do here.
Once you've got the terrain and structures you want in your map, you can easily print them to a paper size of your choice or export them to a virtual tabletop.
Yes.
To be ready. And just says that there's tabletop VTTs out there that have they had the 3D map settings. So you can import these 3D maps to these things, which I think would be great, because one of my favorite multiplayer games is Diablo, and I love that overhead view thing where they're running around. And I've always wanted to implement that in my D&D games. The only way I could do that was with the hexagon maps, and that shit's expensive. So
yeah. And my favorite thing about this tool is that if your player characters go off script and decide to delve into a dungeon or dip into a crypt or follow a cult of the dragon's lair, and you're not prepared for it, you don't have to spend 20 minutes trying to come up with something. You can literally have something inside of a minute. You tell everyone, all right, take a quick bathroom break, and boom, you give it the general settings. It may not be exactly what you want, but the fact that you can just do that is phenomenal. What's really cool is you can send players on you send them on their break. You come back. Not only can you have part of the dungeon, you could add a whole expansion around it too. And to me, that is just something that we have needed. I mean, we've all got, there's generators out there.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like this that just toss in the detail at this level. And that to me is extremely important, because that shows the dedication that the team put into this. And the versatility of it is really cool too. In the current slide we're running, or the video we're running,
potions,
they're individually. So you can get down once it's automatically generated, or you generate it yourself. You can start revamping and personalizing the stuff how you want, which is really, really cool. And I think it would help a lot of dungeon masters, game masters, not just for D&D like us, but for any fantasy setting. And honestly, I don't think it'll take long before it expands beyond fantasy. I would not be surprised if you start seeing other, Dungeon Alchemist themed setting kits or whatever. Now, overall, you guys have kind of got a good view of this. What is kind of your overall thoughts on it? And is there anything that you would like to see that you're not sure is there or you don't think has been presented yet?
Not off the top of my head, because it seems to be, at the end of the day, a very straightforward product.
Yeah, I would agree. The other thing that I think it does really well is that it's very easy. It's very easy. When I first got it, I could have went through the tutorial, but I didn't because I ain't got no time for that. But I quickly was able to. It was very intuitive, and you literally just pick your terrain, you draw a box, and tell it what theme you want the box to be, and it does the work for you, which, hallelujah, is needed for me. Welcome back, Wizard. Wow, feels like years. Yeah, it has been a while since you joined us.
Oh, wow. I was a giddy. It's been a while, indeed.
So
I really want to invest into this product. I don't buy a lot of D&D stuff because I don't have a lot of money. But this is something I would definitely buy into.
Nope. Yeah. Sorry.
And another thing I love that he was showing me was you can control the time of day and where the lighting's coming from and all that. But when you bring the lighting down and it's dark, all the light sources, they flicker and they
turn
burn
on
and stuff.
Yeah.
And if they're off, they turn on when it gets dark, and it's just so pretty.
And Brandon kind of touched on it earlier. This all imports to the VTT as long as the VTT supports dynamic lighting, as well as the walls. So all that stuff is already included. Whether you're using, I think Roll20 now has dynamic lighting. Foundry, Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah.
I don't recall if Shard Tabletop has it, though.
I want to say Roll20
Tuesdays.
does have it, but you have to pay for a higher tier in the subscription. So
Okay, I didn't know
What
that.
is it available on?
What are devices available on? As
Not
far
just
as I
PC.
know, it's Steam is where you get it. So I assume whatever platform Steam is on.
PC.
I think PC exclusive. Don't quote me on that. I
Yeah.
don't game nearly as much as I used to. Back in my old days.
I mean,
It's amazing.
Did-
When you're in high school, you have no money. You got plenty of time to game. But when you're an adult and you have money, you have no time to game.
D&D and Pathfinder are insanely popular right now. I wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised if they came up with like an iPad version or something.
Yeah, for sure. And that definitely is a place that I think that as the product grows and the audience grows, I can see them expanding that. Because to me, I can see this as a mobile application. Sitting on my toilet, dropping my dice off, and building new maps. That is totally something that I can totally see myself doing. And I think that as they get, because I think their Kickstarter just exploded, right? And was something that everyone, I think everyone was shocked at by its success. So as it continues to build an audience and deliver on what people want, I can see those sorts of options rolling as well. Kiefer does say that Roll20 has worked hard to improve their dynamic lighting and features. Definitely, because they got more competition now, and that's one of the best ways to improve. Though I do get that it is a free platform to start with, so which is really great.
Yeah.
I do want to take a second to remind anybody that's watching. Hopefully, you'll going to be Extraordinary Expeditions, our product that adventure book that releases the end of this week. You get a full physical copy, so make sure you stick around that.
In fact, type in crit on YouTube, all caps with an exclamation point.
Okay, sounds good. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, it should be available right now at the release of the pod. If you're listening to it on podcast, release is May 13th.
No, it's Friday. Yeah.
So Friday the 13th, that seems like it's bad. So if you run your adventure on when you pick it up and all your players die, that's just meant to be. I do think we do got to touch on some of the negatives that the product has. Because as much as I love this product, it's not without its flaws. I think they are easily fixable, repairable. I think they can fix it. Currently, at least as far as we know, all the rooms are pretty much square. You can make them longer rectangles. They're basically all boxes, right? Even though you can change the shapes of the boxes to form complex patterns, there's no round rooms, right? So if I want to build round rooms, I have to make a big hex with lots of little squares in it, right? And that's something that doesn't really bother me, but seems like a feature that should come pretty quickly. And I would like to see, because that means you can't build a typical round rook. What is the end of? Is it what they're called? The end of the castles. The round stairs go up them.
Oh, the
tower.
Yeah. So no round wizards towers for me yet, But I think that'll come hopefully with the building of the multi-level stuff, right? That's kind of one of my con points. I don't know if you guys had any concern or anything about that. Something like that. With that, a winding staircase, yes. Yep. Is that there's something about that? Do you think would bother you, or is that just me?
I would say it's annoying, but we also acknowledge up front, though, that this is a work in progress product and it isn't early access, and they are to their credit updating it constantly.
Yeah,
so.
all the time.
Yeah.
What is that? Okay, so I guess that's in the way. Let me maximize this.
Well, yeah, Andrew has a good point. You shouldn't sit on your phone while you're on the toilet for too long, because that's how you get hemorrhoids. Is that why my ass bleeds?
TMI.
Once again, as Ian said, if you want a chance and be entered to win a chance to win a hard copy of Extraordinary Expeditions, please type in crit. What do you say? Crit in the
all caps.
All caps.
Exclamation point.
Exclamation point.
Yeah, we're not going to deduct points if you don't do the
minus 10
point.
Anyways, so I do want to say, all in all, this program is worth every penny, in my opinion. I think it's what, 40, 45, 40?
Something like that.
About $40. And the amount of time that you will save, it will be well worth it, because time is precious as an adult.
Precious.
And I'm telling you, when they bring that thing to mobile, I guarantee you my ass is gonna be like, boom, new map, boom, new map, boom, new map. How long were we on the toilet? 3 maps worth.
Okay.
Anyways,
So,
so
45 bucks.
45. So that's a pretty reasonable price. I don't remember because I backed it and I got it.
Yeah.
So whether you're busy doing adult stuff or need a map quickly, or you just want to have an absolutely gorgeous backdrop for your epic stories and campaigns, I personally highly recommend Dungeon Alchemist. What about you guys?
I think it's definitely good for what you get, and if you want something quick, there you go. Just don't place unfair expectations on it.
Oh yeah, right, for sure.
I'd invest into it. You're probably going to see it, and it's most likely just going to feel like a new toy for a while. But
Yeah.
I don't see anyone outshining this.
At least in
this thing in the
short
near
term.
future, yeah.
Right.
Until they do it in VR and make it affordable. I know they got something going on in VR, but it's like a lot.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm really happy with this product. My bad.
What'd you do?
That was my bad.
Why do you keep buttons you're not supposed to today?
Hey, I meant to do that. It didn't work the way I wanted. So
It's the background music for the video.
yeah, it's for the background music. So overall, I think that's all. I don't got much more to say on Dungeon Alchemist other than I thought it was totally worth every bit that I supported for it. And I look forward to creating all kinds of maps. If you're a content creator, they have a licensing, commercial license for maps that you make to populate your adventures with, which is really cool.
And I'm not sure we quite answered this. Like 3 Cheese Dave did ask, can you use this as a battle map platform for your game for queries like Roll20 or Owlbear audio? Short version, you can export your maps as pictures and then upload them to it.
Yep. So that is something that they do talk about a little bit in their thing, because that's one of the big benefits is you can actually get them switch between an orthographic view, which is basically a top-down flattened view like a classic drawn map, or a perspective view, which is the top-down, but it's got the perspective of 3 dimensions, or the full 3D version, or even 2.5 if you want to go that route. So all that's easily built into the program.
And you can export the picture too, so you can actually physically print it off. So
yes, which is something that actually turns out really, really well. You'd be surprised. All the lighting and everything looks gorgeous just to print it and throw it away when you're done with it, which is great, unless you want to save it because it's a lot of ink. You can do. I think you can do grayscaling and stuff too. So, all right, I think that'll do it for our main topic, Dungeon Alchemist. Once again, awesome program. Definitely check it out. That team over there has done a phenomenal job. Now, before we move on to our Honor tips and tricks, we have to give our shameless plug. Our shameless plug today is Extraordinary Expeditions. Imagine that. It is available May 13th. I have to say, the team, we all did phenomenal work. The art is gorgeous. I don't know if you all can see that from here. Oh, no, she's got it on the screen, so that's fine. And the artwork is phenomenal. We followed an old school style, so there's a lot of black and white on parchment color, but it turned out really, really well. The variety of adventures. Personally, one of my favorite adventures is the Alluring Mesas, because I love the idea of the puzzle and mystery behind figuring out why people are leaping to their death just to find out that they're being called to their death by harpies. So when the players first encounter them, if they stake out, they end up fighting on top of mesas, creatures that can fly when they can't at a low level. And I think it's awesome. More than once I dropped people, but fortunately some of them had feather fall and crap like that.
If I'm not mistaken, when you were flipping through those pages, did I see one of our memorable monsters in there?
Probably.
Yeah.
𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙧𝙧𝙧𝙀?
Yeah. So we did use monsters from our we tied some monsters from Cobalt Press as well as our memorable monsters in here, which turned out really, really well too. So it just made me a super smell. It's really good. So
see, I'm excited because I didn't actually help with this book.
And neither did I. I mean, we like to support the show, but unfortunately, we all have lives.
Yeah, right.
That's what he does. That's what he does. Andrew,
it's
Andrew,
a teamwork.
He says, "Print it out at work. Save your own ink." That's what he does with all of his shit. He prints it out.
This is on the internet. They're gonna know now.
They don't. Your coworkers don't watch you. He was
apologize to my boss. All that ink I did tell you was for professional use only. So yes, please, if you want to support us and the work that we do, a lot of effort goes into these. So watch for it to release on May 13th. I promise the adventures in here, whether you keep them as is or flavor them as your own, you will get a huge bang for your buck.